Welcome, human resource and OD professionals. We're continuing with that task that no manager likes, how to address a performance issue with your people so where they understand the issue, they own their accountability, and you don't destroy the relationship in the process. So far, we've defined the issue, we've worded it appropriately, we've started the conversation positively, and we've engaged them in the conversation so that we now understand their perspective. How do you bring it home so that we have a solution that will address the issue? Get the answer in today's video. Step 4 is to review the standard. Now, I understand you may have issues and problems, and the work is the work, the job is the job, and we've talked about this in the past. You understood these expectations. So at this point, I simply reaffirm where the line is. I can ask it. So, what's our standard for the scrap rate? What scrap rate are we supposed to be hitting on this team? Or I can flip it around and simply state, hey, you know we're expecting 97% good product from you all the time, which may be very low, but you get it. So you can ask it, you can say it, that's more of a stylistic issue, but don't beat around the bush. This is once again where you just got to get right to the point. The standard is this. Now, I recommend you avoid the words company policy is for two reasons. One, as we talked about in a previous video, if it's truly a policy issue, we should not be addressing it here. Policy, showing up to work on time, wearing proper PPE, not harassing, no weapons, etc., etc., etc. Those define the lowest standard of what it means to be an employee in our company. So my only expectation of you is that you understand the policy. But we're not going to have a performance conversation about this. We're not going to go through any of these steps. If you don't show up to work on time and the handbook says I dock you pay, or I report you to HR or write you up, whatever it is, I simply am going to enforce the policy and I'll let you know that it was enforced. So company policy is bad language if it's policy, but even if it's not, the company expects us to turn in our reports in a timely fashion. Well, you've just emasculated yourself, or just whatever the version is for women. You've just taken away your own authority by putting it on the team. This is between you and me. This is the expectation that we understood, that I may have said or may have been set through me as your manager, but we knew this. So now I am holding you to account. So I'm not going to diminish my own power here. I'm simply going to state it clearly. On my team, I expect that the documentation is 100% accurate. On my team, I expect that we discuss in a robust way about what we agree and disagree with, but nobody jumps up on tables and starts cussing. So you state the standard. Again, this should be very quick. And then you go back into questioning mode by asking for a specific solution. Now, this can be very tempting for you to tell, to say, here's what I think you need to do. Instead, if you want them to own, which in fact, that's what we want this performer. We want them to realize that they're the ones that have created this situation. They're the ones that aren't meeting standard. And so they're the ones that need to come up with the solution because they're adults. Because in fact, we do respect them. So how do you set this up appropriately? You set this up by asking them. Again, use an open question. So ask for their solution, not yours. Press for specifics, use silence. Here's what a solution is. Now, this is a fine point. Follow me here. So Timothy's reports are late. That's the one that we're addressing right now. And I say, so Tim, you're an important part of the team, but your reports are always a day late. What's going on with that? So we talk. And Tim says that because of the other assignments, and we're in a matrixed organization, because of the other responsibilities he has to a different manager, that in fact he really is stuck under the gun. So when I ask for his solution, that's the actual cause, right? Too much work, pressure from a different manager. The solution can't be, oh, I just promise I'll get them to you on time. That's not a solution. The solution is a solution to the root cause that we identified in step 4. So somehow he's going to have to talk to me about how he's going to work with that other manager, how he's going to shift other issues, other assignments, how he's going to make time in his schedule so that that root cause no longer has the negative impact upon him. That's a real solution. So you're going to have to, this is the other step. Step 3 can take some time. Step 5 can take some time to do well. You're listening again until you hear what you go, wow, yes, if in fact you implement this solution that you came up with, you will actually, it will take care of the issue. That's what you're listening for. Now, don't think, I do want this to be led by them. Your role here is to question, facilitate their thinking, and simply be the accountability backstop that says, we're going to figure this out. And I'm expecting you to come up with a solution. So use, keep at it. You may offer an idea if they're struggling. How might you go talk to that other manager? What do you need to work through with him? Is there a way of shifting around your schedule? You can help prompt his thinking. You don't have to be mute, but you don't want to be saying, hey, here's what you need to do, because then it just became your solution, and it's much less likely to be worked with over time. Besides, they're an adult. They can figure this out. So trust that. Use silence when necessary. That is, look at them. If you say, so what can you do to address this issue to make sure that your reports are on time? Don't be too quick to break your own silence. You can give them the look, just like I just did, right? You can give them the look. Count to yourself slowly. If after 10, they're not answering anything, then they may not have heard or they may not understand, so reword your question. So this is time for you to just hang in there and keep expecting them to come up with the solution to their issue, which they can do. Once you get there, you think you've heard the solution which will address the issue. Then what we need to finish this out is we need commitment. To say, I can, I might, this would work is not the same thing as saying, I will. And human beings have this tendency when they promise, particularly to another person that's been respectful to them, when they say, yes, in fact, I will do that, they're more likely to. If you remember when we were kids, I don't know about you, but growing up, you could play games, you could try to tease other people, you could try to get out of promises by saying, you always had the excuse, well, I didn't use the words I promised. But if you ever use the words I promise, somehow, that was binding upon you. And we're still big kids. So Anyway, so you're asking for commitment. So this is the appropriate place to ask a closed question. Okay, so will you go have that conversation with Jim tomorrow morning and rearrange the schedule at which you're expected to do your work for him? And if they say, yes, I'll do that, then seal the deal is however you finish. Is it shaking hands, fist pump, whatever you need to do to mark completion? You now have set them up to go back and to do good work. Thanks for tuning into today's video. Stay with us. We have one more. Next week, we're going to talk about how you use the understanding of personality, particularly as we know it through the everything DISC model. How do we use that understanding to fine-tune our discussion? That's what we're going to dig into next week. I hope you will tune in to us then. Thanks so much for watching. Please like, please subscribe, please share with your friends. And until next week, be well.